Welcome back again. This is Fox, the next installment in our tourist run, our Max Tourist Let's Play. In the last video, I've shown you how I'd turn most of the New World into a giant orchard because we need an insane amount of cinnamon and coconut oil. In this video, you can tell from the title, we're going to be going over this island. This is like, I'm calling these hybrid islands because there's many different production facilities on one island, and I do firmly believe this is going to be the new meta for record production. The reasons being we will touch on in a minute. First of all, let's take a look at what this island's making. It's making an insane amount of stuff. The main thing I need to do on most of the islands in the New World is make me grain, because I need 1,800 tons of grain per minute. So we're making 332 tons of grain, 99 tons of tallow. This is coming from the fisheries. I've covered them quite a lot. The fish oil factories are making me the tallow. The potatoes, hops and peppers are byproducts from the farms. The rum is coming from fried plantain kitchens, which we'll touch on in a bit. The fur coats are coming from poncho dealers. Again, we'll talk about that. The gold is coming from the fisheries. 279 tons of coconut oil. Again, I need an awful amount of this. I believe it was 800 and something tons a minute, 868 tons a minute. Sugar, I am as of yet decided whether I will use the sugar or not. There are a couple of recipes that I may be using for the, I think it's the cafe that needs to supply the hotels. There's one for a chocolate eclair that needs sugar. The fish oil obviously is being made at the fisheries. This is being used then to make the fried plantains. The bananas, I'm making 300 tons of bananas on this island. Only half of them are being used on the island, or 148 tons. The rest is going to Crown Falls. This is going to be used to make banana surprise again, which is one of the recipes for the restaurant, I believe. Making 148 tons of fried plantains. These are being shipped around to the islands in the New World and then dumped to make sure that the sugar keeps coming. I'm making 48 tons of alpaca wool. This is mainly to make the fertilizers. We're going to go over all of this in a minute. I'm making some corn. This is for the silos. Tortillas, I'm not giving any. I'm making 11 tons of dung a minute, 12 tons of fertilizer. So as you can see, an awful lot of production on this island. There's probably 1,000 tons of stuff being made on this island, if you add it all up. Maybe 800-900. But yeah, why do I think these hybrid islands will become the meta? The main reason being is the limiting range of these haciendas. If I could have my way, this whole island would be grain. But the hacienda range is limited by this circle here. That means the hacienda farms can only go inside this range. You can see I've crammed as many in as I can, tried to make use of the space as best as possible. I have got a little bit of used space here, but again, we'll talk about that in a minute. This is making the fertilizer. So yeah, the limited range of these haciendas, and also the limited reach of the hacienda grain farms, or whatever farms you have, even with a tractor on, the maximum amount of tiles that you need is 96 tons. 96 tons a minute. 96 grain fields, sorry. It's not an awful lot. It's hard to stretch them out and cover a big area. Just simply for that fact that they're not, you can't stretch them out that long. Even if you had one straight line, all of the rivers and stuff in the New World stop you stretching them out as far as you can and making the most use of the space, to put it bluntly. So I have managed to fit 17 hacienda grain plantations. I could have fit a few more here and stretch it out here, but if I have grain production on every island, I'm easily going to make the 1,800 tons a minute, but I will have to have it on every island. So yeah, the limited range of these hacienda buildings and the limited range of the hacienda farms means it's virtually impossible to cover the whole island with the farms in the radius of the hacienda. So you've got no choice really but to use the space on the island for other things. One thing that you will have to do is you need 1,000 population on the island to make the hacienda range at its maximum. So you're always going to need 1,000 population on an island with a hacienda on if you want it to have its full range. Now for me, just having a population on there just to create this range is a serious waste of space. So I decided to use the actual population for the orchards, because there are no items that we can use for these orchards to decrease workforce. The farms are all at 0 workforce. Fried plantain kitchens are not at 0 workforce. These are making use of the workforce as well. Banana plantations, even though they're not Hacienda farms, these are at 0 workforce as well, because the tractor gives us -50, and then I am using the plough, which is -50. So all of the farms are 0 workforce. So that means you only really need workforce for the orchards for what I'm doing. Fried plantain kitchens, I'm still not sure whether I'm going to go along with this, because I may not need the sugar, but we're making some rum, which I definitely do need for some of the recipes. So I'm pretty sure, now I think about it, the fried plantains kitchens will stay. So let's talk about the overall production on this island then. The workforce that I needed for the Hacienda, and in turn for the orchards, is all down here. This is my standard setup. You'll see this quite often around the place. I've got 3 town halls. The stuff in the middle, the services that they need, so the market, hospital, fire station, police station, and there should be a church somewhere. That's there on the outside. I try to fit these in the middle of the town halls, and the population spans outwards. Same 3 items that I use in all the new world to generate me the workforce. Papal paper of preservation increases the residents by 3. And then these 2 are +50 and +40% workforce. So big boost on the workforce. When you think I've got 173 houses on here. 173 Honolero houses. And our labour pool is 4,278. 4,278. 4,278 divided by, what was it? 173. Means each house is generating roughly 25 workforce available, but they only have 13 in them. So we're nearly doubling the amount of workforce by using those items for the same amount of space. So it's massive. I've got probably 2,000 actual people on this island, actual population. The rest is just workforce. So yeah, the population squeezed over here. I did need another little cluster somewhere else, if I remember rightly. I may be wrong. Yeah, there's a little bit here. I've squeezed one in here around this trade union just to boost the workforce for the extra orchards that I needed. So yeah, once the corn is done, it's a basic setup for the corn. As I said earlier, I'm using the tractor. Increases productivity by 200%, -50% workforce, but you get extra goods at a rate of 1/3. I'm then using the plough. This is +50. -50 workforce. This makes us at 0 workforce, so we need no workforce to run these farms, and we're already at a 350% boost. Then using the new fertilizer silo, we'll go over the fertilizer in a bit. This brings an extra 100% productivity and gives grain at a rate of 1/3. I'm then using ferras, flat 50% boost. I'm then using Dr. Ali Alza here, and the main reason because I'm going to use the potatoes and also the grapes, and he gives a little bit of grain as well extra, you can see from the list there. The grapes are going to be used for the Embesson Sunrise. Not Embesson Sunrise. They're going to be used for one of the recipes for either the bar, the cafe, or the restaurant. The banana plantations are very similar. An identical setup, actually. I'm using the plough, tractor, silo, ferras, and alley. There is a different way you can do this to make it more optimal. I could have used Herman instead of the ferras to generate more grapes. I could use the horticulturalist if I needed some tobacco, but I've decided to move away from the recipe that needed tobacco in the restaurant or the cafe. So yeah, this save is evolving all the time. I'm changing my mind of which recipes to use in the restaurants and bars and stuff, and I may have a mixture of 2 or 3 different recipes depending on where the island is situated and what goods I can make to get over there, because I'm making some useful byproducts that can be used to make some recipes. I might as well use them because it's saving on the space elsewhere. So yeah, the farms obviously need fertilizer to work in these new fertilizer works. I have crammed the fertilizer and the alpaca farms in the radius of a 0 workforce town hall, which is covering the fisheries. So all of the alpaca farms and these 3. Oh, look at that. That's not in there. Can we change that? No, because it gets that one outside. So we did have to sacrifice one of the fertilizer works not being at 0 workforce, but hey ho, we had plenty to spare. So the alpaca farms and the fertilizer works are all at 0 workforce. This is after the update that we got for the fertilizer works, so these are running at 30-second base right now. I mean, with these 0 workforce items and the plus 50, I've got it down to 13 seconds. So this before, I would have needed like 15 of these to do the same job as what these are doing now. Maybe even more, maybe 20. We're producing 12 tons of fertilizer and I need 10 tons per minute. I decided to make it on island for each one of these. It's just the way I've decided to do it. It works really well. You get them at the edge of the Hacienda radius. You can get everything inside the catchment of 0 workforce trade union that the fisheries are doing. Yeah, happy days. So the alpaca wool. Obviously, we need to keep the alpaca wool moving to generate the dung that the fertilizer works need. So we had to do something with this. And instead of just dumping the alpaca wool, I decided to make ponchos. Again, I've nicked a couple of items from the trade union that was covering these fisheries, and I've put in Cristobal taffeta, legendary trendsetter. The reason I've chose this is because not only does he give a plus 50% productivity boost, he gives fur coats at a rate of 1/3. Now I need 2,000 and some stupid fur coats a minute, so although this is only making me 15 tons of fur coats a minute, it all adds up. Anytime you can utilise something to get you to the end figure, it's good for me. So instead of just dumping the alpaca wool, we've got a small trade union cluster here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 poncho downers, making me ponchos, which are being shipped around the New World and then eventually dumped to keep the alpaca wool flowing. But it's also making me 15 tons of fur coats a minute, so nice little side bonus there. So the fertilizer works and the alpaca ones we've covered. The orchards are the same as what I went over in the last video. I believe I actually covered this island, or sort of glanced on it just so you could see that the coconut production was finished on this island. So it's the three items that increase forest density. This one by 25, this one by 15, this one by 20. Yep, the orchards are easy peasy. Plop the trade unions down, clip them where you can. This one's being affected by 2, you can see. This one I've got one. Why that one is not being clipped because that is not an orchard trade union. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 being clipped over here, 5. So yeah, crammed in orchards anywhere I could. The museum. This has got the Bronze Age. I do need to get. No, I don't. It's here. I've got the Gods of Delta over here as well, decreasing the amount of influence that we need for the trade unions and yeah, town halls. So apart from that, it just looks like a very, very well thought out island, but it's very organic how I do these. I literally work out the best place for the Hacienda first, make sure that the edge is in range of one of these trade unions so I can cram the alpacas and the fertilizer works in. The rest is simply branches out from there. I made as much grain as I physically could by cramming in as many of the grain. Many of these, there's way more than 17 of them there, isn't there? It only says 17. Hacienda Grain Farm 32. Ah, the 17 plantain plantations making me the grain. I've got 32 Hacienda Grain Farms, so I thought it sounded a bit low. So yeah, 32 grain farms crammed in here. These work crazy. They're 580%, plus you're getting every second cycle you're getting 2 free. Every third cycle you're getting 2 tons for free, so it's bonkers. Yeah, as I said, it was quite organic. Once the Hacienda down and the grain farms were filled in, it was a matter of just filling in the rest of the space with what I could. I needed to top up the coconut oil, so I did that first with the orchards. Once the orchards are in, I just filled in the rest of the space with the banana plantations. This one, again, this is using horticulturalist Herman because he gives potatoes and grapes, which I need both. Yeah, and then I simply made the fried plantains from the bananas and the fish oil, which were already being made on the island to make fried plantains because of these items. Gennaro Garibaldi Chocolatier by Royal Appointment. He gives me sugar at a rate of 1/4 and rum at a rate of 1/5, and then Charlotte the Chocoholic to bring me more sugar as well. So just from this little cluster of fried plantain kitchens here, we're making 29 tons of rum a minute, 72 tons of sugar. These do have to be dumped. The island storage is full, so I do need to up the number of ships that are getting rid of those. fried plantains. Need to add another airship onto this if I have one in the region. If not, I will do it after we deal with this. I do darkness. Oh my god. Darkness 3 we will add onto this. We can find it. I wish there was a way to search for the ship that you want. Yeah, this is well bugged out. This never works. Never works, right. Darkness 3, let's see if we can find it. Give up. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, sole purpose of the fried plantain kitchens anyway is to make me the rum and the sugar, which the rum is definitely being used for the Embes and Sunrise, the drink for the bar. The sugar may be used to make the eclair for the restaurant. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be the way to go for record builders and min-maxers. It sort of forces you to use islands for more than one good now because, as I keep saying, the limited range of the Hacienda, population that you need to make the Hacienda at its fullest, it's a waste of time just having it on the islands and not using it. So I think Haciendas making crops and then orchards using the workforce is the way to go for these, and then any spare space you've got, fill in with anything else that you need for your setup. Coffee is going to be another good one. When it comes to our record run, I think we are. It's pretty renowned now that we are going to need to be making coffee for the next record run. It's virtually impossible to arbitrage 2 medium islands without making the coffee. So yeah, this island's working really, really well. Pleased with it. The fisheries I haven't gone on, but it's my basic setup. It's Toby, Mother of Pearls, Veteran Whaler to make the tallow and the gold bars. The rest is at 0 workforce. Fish oil is all being used by these fried plantain kitchens. It should be. Demand is 148, we're making 153, so I'm overproducing ever so slightly on the fish oil. I could tone it down a bit to make sure that we weren't filling up on the fish oil, because that would stop production of the tallow and stuff. Let's try and do that now. We can feather this down to get it in line with the amount that we need. 148, we're producing 151. 148, we're producing 42, so somewhere in between. It's going to be about 36 maybe. 140, 145, even a bit more. If anything, we want it probably 1 ton below so that they're always waiting. So that they're always running out, should I say. Demand is 148, we're making 146. Maybe we can sneak it up just a little bit more. Perfect. Demand is 148, we need 147. The reason we're only producing 117 is because the island's full. Once the fried plantains kitchen start taking the fish oil, and the island stock will start decreasing ever so slowly. But yeah, that's it. Nice quick video. Hybrid Hacienda Islands. The future for min-maxing and record building. Hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Come join the Discord. Loads of people joining the Discord every day. We've got a real good community going over there now. Yeah, loving it. Loads more videos to come. I think in the next video I will cover a couple more of these islands in the New World. I have started adapting some of the islands that I shown you in the last video that were dedicated to just making the orchards. Because of the reason that I just spoke about, the amount of grain I need to make, I'm going to have a hacienda on every island making me a bit of grain. The workforce that the hacienda needed to be at full radius was already on this island because I was making the orchards, so I've just slimmed down the production of orchards, squeezed in a hacienda. Done this on a couple now. Done it on this one as well. This is only making me a small amount of grain, but it is what it is. It's 83 tons a minute. It's all going towards the end goal, so yeah. This big island is going to be the masterpiece of the save. Give you a quick look over this. This is in its very early stages. Very similar to to what you've seen on the last few. But yeah, for now, as I said, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.